taking it day to day. Joy, the AFC North is difficult.
Very.
Bengals, Steelers, Ravens, Browns. The AFC is difficult.
Yeah.
Can the Bengals afford to start the season without Joe Burrow?
Nope. Run that man his money. Go on ahead and write that check. I don't know, you got to sell Lake House or whatever you got going on over there. But you don't cry broke when you drafted Joe Burrow #1 overall. You saw what he did at LSU. There's a reason that you took him there. And we saw immediately that he was the guy, so you knew this check was coming. You bought a house and you were surprised when the mortgage payment came? Oh, I thought they were going to let me live here for free.
Evicted.
Bye. What are we talking about here? You also knew what the market was because Deshaun Watson set the market. So you should have had that money in the bank.
Right.
If you weren't going to get to Deshaun Watson's number, all right, well, go, cool. We got a discount. Maybe we can go rebuy that Blake house or whatever else you want. There's no reason why his deal shouldn't be done. What's the holdup? What is the holdup? Don't cry broke to me. You drafted him #1 overall. I personally would not step foot on the field. I wouldn't want someone close to me to step foot on the field. And in a sport as violent as the NFL, we've seen it time and time again. It might be an outlier to some, it's certainly not to me, that you can have a career-ending injury like that. One of those big guys falls on you and it's a wrap. I'm not going to get my generational wealth check lined up before I step on the field. I hear you. There's Super Bowl windows are small and these moments are small. Yeah. So is your opportunity to make money in the NFL. I hate to be this unromantic about it, but we talking about what he does for a living. You all did this for a living. You were not volunteers. It was not charity work. Run me my money. I go to work. I get a check. And he's been getting a nice check, but he's owed a bigger one. And he can't risk his future in any sense of the word without having that done.
I think what Joy's speaking of, though, let me educate the viewer, though, two issues. There are two issues at play, and I didn't do a good enough job clarifying this. There is the money issue, because Joe Burrow has yet to be paid, and there is the health issue, because Joe Burrow might not be healthy enough to take the field week 1. So there are actually two issues at play that could potentially keep Joe Burrow from seeing that field week 1.
And they could be tied together.
And in the end, they could also be tied together. 2-5, can the Bengals afford to start the season without him?
I'm gonna say yes, right? And I'm going more of just the injury part because I feel like the money they gotta figure that out. You can't get around that. He's the second best quarterback in football right now. So
you saying that yes they can afford not to have him
for the first 2 games? Yes. Let me tell you why.
Yep, talk to me.
Because last year, right, they didn't really play well with him.
First 2.
And then they got it rolling again. But for my main point is when you look at their schedule, right? Let's say that the calf is still banged up. They want to get him 100%. He don't play for the first 2 games. They have Cleveland. It's always a good game because it's a divisional game. And they have Baltimore. Baltimore's always good.
Of course.
But after that, I mean, what, the Rams?
That's a dub.
What's that? The Rams, you got the Titans, you got Arizona.
Cardinals.
And the Seahawks is like up and down. So you can get, what, 4-2 until the bye week. So I would say, if you don't play the first 2 games, I think you wait till he's 100%, and they can roll, because last year, they did that. If you remember, they started off slow, and they started rolling and rolling and rolling. I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs last year.
True.
How slow they started.
That's a good point. You did say that.
And then they got fired up again. So I just think that with Joe Burrow, you always have a chance to win games.
Good point.
Well,
I'm making sure he's 100%, I'm saying. Making sure he's 100%.
#1, we're talking about the franchise, correct?
Yeah.
Right? You don't play with the franchise. So if the franchise ain't even close to being 100%, why is Button even trotting out there at practice? That's just keeping it a buck. If you are the franchise and you are not 100%, you are not trotting out there at practice, period. So I understand what the coach is saying, but Joe Burrow cannot afford not to play the first 2 games. You go in a hole in the division 0-2 the first 2 games, you in trouble. Right? Last year, we got to understand, Deshaun Watson didn't play the first 11 or however many games, right? Lamar Jackson got hurt. If Lamar Jackson don't get hurt, they don't even win the division. That's Lamar Jackson's division. The Baltimore Ravens was rolling. And, they got better, right? We talked about that yesterday. He cannot afford to start this season 0-2 and then try to come in here and save this season. It's different this year. We talked about AFC. You got Aaron Rodgers over there. You got Buffalo over there. He played Buffalo. He played the Niners. He played Baltimore twice, Pittsburgh twice, Cleveland twice. You cannot afford to go in the hole. Joey B has to take this field. They got to start off hot, and they know, like I said yesterday, they know that the time is now. You done been to the Super Bowl. You done been to the AFC Championship. It's time to get back and get over that hump and win it, and that's the pressure that the Bengals is on right now.
One thing is, and I agree with you, if you remember, Jamar Chase came out and was like, listen, he don't need to play until he's 100%. So I hear what you're saying, but I'd rather have my guy don't play the first 2 games and have it 100% and going forward than come out there 75%, 80%, and don't give me the Joe Burrow that we want to see, and then he might potentially get hurt more. So I'd rather have my guy at 100%.
It's interesting, like, if the Bengals want to win the Super Bowl, I don't think they can afford for Joe Burrow to miss time.
No.
I'm with Shady in the fact of you can miss time with Joe Burrow, you still gonna make the playoffs. But I think the difference between winning the Super Bowl, getting to the Super Bowl at least, and making the playoffs is if you are a 5 seed versus a 2 seed. If you're a 5 seed versus a 1 seed, let's play this out at home, America. If you're a 5 seed and you're the Bengals, that means your first game is likely going to be on the road against the Jacksonville Jags. Then you win that, you're likely going to have to play the 1 seed, again on the road. Likely, let's just play this out hypothetically speaking, the Kansas City Chiefs. The 5 would thus play the 1 because the 1 will likely be the worst seed. Say you beat the Jags on the road. Then you beat the Chiefs. Now you got to play who? The Bills?
You beat
You got to go play the Ravens?
Everybody,
the Jets?
Everybody you're talking about, they beat on the road.
No doubt about it.
Everybody thought they beat on the road.
No doubt about it. I'm not saying they can't.
In the playoffs, they did it.
You're right. I'm not saying they can't.
Yeah, like they're not worried about that.
I'm just saying that in this AFC, I think 2-5, it's going to be a lot more difficult. I was watching last week, I was watching track and field world championships. Sha'Carri Richardson versus Jamaica Sharika Jackson, 2 of the fastest women alive right now. I said this, if Sha'Carri gets the baton anchoring first, she going to win. If Sharika get the baton first, she gonna win. Because they both run 10, 6, 5, and 100. They both like this. One's faster at the 100, one fast. Whoever gets the baton first is gonna win this race. Thankfully, Sha'Carri got it first, and y'all know the USA did what the USA does. Whoever is the highest seed in my mind in the AFC, like the Kansas City Chiefs last year, I'm thinking they gonna win.
We're thinking, because that's how it always goes, is you want to have home field advantage. It's nice to have home field advantage, but to Shady's point, the Bengals have shown that they don't need home field advantage. They can go anywhere and win at any time. It's obviously more convenient. It's better. You would prefer to have home field advantage in the bye, but only one team is going to get all of that.
Right.
So that doesn't mean necessarily that team is going to be the one that's representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. The priority has to be Joe Burrow being healthy, first of all. And then if Joe Burrow is healthy, he has to prioritize himself, in my opinion. So there's layers to this situation. Now, he seems like the type of player that's going to play regardless of my pleas to get the deal done first. But he shouldn't be out there if he's not 100%, particularly with an injury like that, because that's something that can linger throughout the entire season. And it's unfortunate that he's not necessarily healthy going into the season. But you all know this. You go into a season hurt, how are you going to leave the season? Hurt. You don't have a break to recover once the season starts.
And that's truly why I think he's 100%. Joe Burrow came back, about a week ago?
Yeah.
Right? You got 2 weeks and a half before you play a game. So as a training staff, if we're talking about the franchise, if you're not 100%, bro, we got 2 weeks before we play. Sit your butt in this training room. Ain't no need to go out there and practice, move on this calf, dude. Ain't no need. We know what you bring. Right? So for you to even put him out there at practice, Joe Burrow playing, Joe Burrow gonna be 100%, and they need him because they cannot afford to have a slow start. Period.
Yeah, I don't know if he's 100%. I think there's some things at practice. But I'll say this though. When you go on the road and you win big games, like the last time they went to the Super Bowl was on the road. In Arrowhead. That's why the whole thing came from was Burrowhead.
But you don't want to do that.
But my thing is, you say that, but like some team, we don't care. We did both. We beat Buffalo and Buffalo in the cold and
we don't have to hypothesize. I will ask you all because I am curious. En route to your Super Bowl, y'all were 10-6 that year.
And they was on the what?
Hold on. They won every single game on the road. Now, Shady, again, for clarity for the viewers, you won 2. 1, you did it on the road, and 1, you did it when everybody had to come through y'all. So we have perspectives. I'll ask y'all later because the viewers
don't change the confidence. You think you're going to win the game.
Your boy had a lot of one season. He lost a lot.
But he went on the road. But he went on the road. That's what he did.
30 years ago.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.